reggae music right here at Reggae Iration. Aleki featuring Jubba White right here playing. Sweet reggae music is the title. Welcome to the show. The moment is just now. Right here, right now, joining us live from Oregon. Jubba White, welcome to the show.
Yeah, man, thank you very much for having me, man.
Give thanks, give thanks. Jubba White, tell me about your connection with Kenya, because this track is one of the greatest tracks that many Kenyans love it. Tell me about the connection, how you came to meet Aleki, how the track came to be.
Yeah, man. First of all, good evening, massive there in Kenya, the entire Reggae Iration massive,
Bless
the
up.
entire, reggae population of Kenya, enough, straight up.
Give thanks.
So, yeah, man. Aleki, we connected on social media.
Okay.
He reached out to me. He told me, he loved what I was doing, in terms of production and the music I've been putting out, my band as well, Dubtonic Crew. And I also really loved the sounds that I heard, coming from his platform. So it was just like that, you know what I mean? Let's do it. From a brother to another, and that was it. We embarked on that. He sent me his hook, to the song.
Okay.
And it was kind of funny because originally I did not plan on singing on the song. I wasn't planning on singing. It was just supposed to be a production.
Okay.
But when I produced, the piece and sent back to him and he voiced. He sent it back, with a big chunk left out. So I was like, aren't you done writing?
All right.
No, man. I want you to sing as well.
All right.
So, yeah, man. And the relationship keeps growing. So, big up Aleki.
Give thanks, Jubba White. Jubba White, you're one of the greatest artists. You are a great producer. You're a great singer. You're a great drummer. Tell me how this journey began. Which one came first? Where did it all start? Just the whole foundation of Jubba White.
You know what? Since I came out of the womb, I've been watching my mom, around the home, singing on top of her voice whenever she was, working, anything she was doing in the home. And so that became a part of me. I usually just grab the pot and pans and utensils outside, singing on the top of my voice and banging away, you know what I mean? So it's been there, it's been there with me since inception.
All right.
And I'd say that's where the journey began.
All right. And afterwards, last week we were just talking about a band called C# and how they were able to blend and just develop their music when they were at Edna Manley school. You were at the same school when you just finished high school. You were able to do Caribbean music and just other studies in music. How did this shape you? And is it right to say that Edna Manley school is just the secret of Jamaican band music, live music?
You know what? Edna Manley has done so much for the development in a rounded way.
Okay.
As you know, pretty much like on the motherland, like all of us, we are creative to some degree. Okay. And just like my mom, when she was working around the house and singing and doing stuff, like I think that's in all of us. Some musicians, like myself, we started out doing, we had the natural talent. Okay. And for those of us who decided we wanted to take it to a higher level, Edna Manley was one, of the places that we could go and do further studies. There are other institutions. Okay. But Edna Manley, has really been doing a great job when it comes to development.
All right. All right. Earlier on, you mentioned about your band, Dubtonic Crew. Just tell me how it all started, because it was earlier called Eruption Crew, And
Yeah.
later with the evolution, you came to be Daptonic. Tell me how the Eruption crew started and just the whole evolution as you grew together.
Yeah, that's an exciting period, and there's a lot to talk about there, so I'll try and keep it as short as possible.
Okay.
Eruption Crew, the very first band I played with, considering myself a professional musician. As a teenager, just coming out of Edna, Manley, we were blessed with opportunity to work with a lot of legends, in reggae music. We talk about the Ethiopians, Leonard Dylan, we talk about, Max Romeo, the Mighty Diamonds. My very first tour with my friend as Eruption Crew, as teenagers, was 1997, touring with the Mighty Diamonds and the Ethiopian.
Okay.
And so a lot of that for several years evolved into what became Dubtonic Crew. Okay. Myself and Stone, the bass player, after spending several years on the road touring and learning a lot, from these legends.
Okay.
We decided we wanted to start creating our own brand of music. So that started with an album by the name Jungle Fever, right? And they decided, let's do it.
Okay.
So that was the birth of Dubtonic Crew. Yeah, man.
Yes, man. Just you've been part of these many artists, great artists. You've featured in so many. You've played with so many artists. What are just some of the achievements that you've accomplished with the band and alone in these times?
All right. To date, what I'll say, my personal greatest accomplishment was being able to help put a platform together, two platforms, Bands Incorporated and Plug and Play, where us as musicians could come together and play music. However, Dubtonic Crew as a band, we entered a band competition called the Global Battle of the Bands, which, several, countries, were involved, participated. Okay. So at the national level, you compete, among your peers. And the winner of the national level would be advanced to the world final. It turned out that us, Dubtonic Crew, were unanimously voted the winners in Jamaica. We were advanced to the world final, where we were among 17 bands, from 17 countries, representing themselves and their countries. And one important thing to note is that this was not a reggae competition. Okay. This was a music band competition of various genres. There was rock and roll, heavy metal. We were the only reggae dub band. It was just various genres. And there again, we were unanimously voted by the judges, the band, the winners of that competition. Okay. We were also, given a congressional proclamation for our contribution to communities and music. To communities through music by Congresswoman in New York, Yvette Clarke. CPR, Coalition to Preserve Reggae, also presented us with a Simba Award. In 2012, the Jamaica Star, voted us Band of the Year, and the journey continues. On a personal level, I'd say, as a youngster recording with Burning Spear in 2003 at the drummer, that album was nominated for Grammy. The album, Freeman, by Burning. Last year, 2 years ago, 2019, there's an album called In Our America by a good friend of mine and, artist, recording artist, a producer as well. His name is Iration. That album, In Our America, debuted on the Billboard chart at #1 So that was also, a great feeling,
All right.
not only because of it being debuted at number one on the chart, but because of the message,
Okay.
in the music.
Okay. Having
Yeah,
a,
man.
having accomplished all this with the band, and one of the major goals of the band was just to bring the roots culture back, and also just to bring back different artists whom the band could back up. Everything seems to be was going on well with the band's incorporation in Jamaica. How was it?
Mhm.
How was the transition for you going from Jamaica to Oregon, in terms of the vibes, in terms of the culture, in terms of feedback, and in terms of adopting to the music culture in the United States?
Well, good one. What I'll say is that I've always considered myself a citizen of the world.
Okay.
And as a result of being a well-traveled musician, being able to see and experience these various cultures, that we were blessed with the opportunity to. Moving to Oregon was really nothing new. I lived in France, for almost a year, and we did these long tours where we were able to experience these various places, as I've said before. So my roots is my roots, and wherever I go I bring my roots, and because my roots is within me, so wherever I travel my roots is there. And so it is one of those things where you bring your roots and it is intertwined with whatever there is, the culture, the you adapt, but you do not leave because you are your roots, and so then it was easy.
Okay.
It was easy because if you're in yourself in a new environment, the transition is going to be easy. um Having relationship with other colleagues within the region previous to moving here also made it very easy. And that's been it, creating music like I was in Jamaica or in Paris or in Brazil,
All right. All
in
right.
Kenya, and I hope to be in Kenya soon, actually.
Yes, man. We are hoping also to see you very soon. And just
Yeah, man.
checking, fast forwarding it, Juba White. We just played a track called You Got Me On," and this track you did it back in 2018, one of your greatest track. Currently, you've just revived it with Juba and friends, incorporating some of the youngest artists. Tell me about this experience, because your goal was always just to collaborate, to bring the old artists and the young artists together. And with Juba and friends in this collaboration, it's just a perfect combination. Tell me about this experience.
Thank you very much, man. You worded that so perfectly. Plug and play. Let me get back to plug and play a bit. Plug and play was all about that, blending the vibes artists with older artists so that there could be the growth, based on experiencing together, on stage. So yes, the name of the album that was released earlier this year, kind of represented a little bit of that, but more so, the song "You Got Me Going On" was written in 2006, quite some years ago, and it was written not for me to sing. I did the demo, but I had an artist in mind that was supposed to sing the song. It didn't work out that way, and so 10 years later, which was in 2016, I recorded myself on that composition, the same song that I wrote, same composition, and everything. And what I did with as part of the marketing, for the song, the single at the time when it was released in 2018, was to invite industry colleagues, or just anyone to have fun with the song, dance to it, sing their version of it, and post it on social media. And it was quite interesting, the variations that came out. Aleki was one of those artists that came with a very, very special rendition of the song. And that really inspired me to do this project, where I would collaborate with, some of the artists I handpicked to be a part of it, or just having them do their thing, whatever genre, whatever style they felt, to interpret, and it came out really well. I'm very honored, to have had the opportunity to work with these talented artists on this project with this song.
And it's last year also part of this project was Declaration of Rights, and we saw how just things were in the United States. We saw like this week, one of those cops who were involved in the killing of George Floyd was just sentenced to 22 years. And some of these tracks that you did with many artists in this rhythm were about declaration of human rights. How is the human rights condition right now in United States? And if you compare it also in Jamaica, how has it grown? Is human rights being respected across the world? And what can people do just to better the human rights condition right now around the world?
Yeah, man, this is, we talk about pandemic. That's the real pandemic right there.
Okay.
And it's a global thing.
Mm-hmm.
We say, right? I think that's the real pandemic right there.
Yes,
where there isn't love and unity amongst mankind, there's never going to be peace.
True.
Because love is the foundation, of all things good.
Mm-hmm.
We talk about the human rights condition. There are so many things that we could address, or we can address when it comes to that topic.
Mm-hmm.
And it's that whole interview within itself. You know what I mean?
Yes, man.
Have things improved? I think that the relationship between us as human beings,
Okay.
agree, have improved. But I think a lot of the things
Mm-hmm.
have also stayed.
All right.
The same.
All right.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, so let's just listen into some of these latest tracks that you have worked on this rhythm, and also come later just talk about. Yes, man. Rise and Shine, featuring Jubba White, Frostman, and Aturas. Jubba White, talk to me about Rise and Shine. How the feeling was just collaborating with these two great artists, and just how was the production process of this track?
Yeah, well, let me big up Frostman Brilliant,
okay,
and Artists.
Mm-hmm.
And let me big up Tough Gang International,
mm-hmm,
Foundation Media,
mm-hmm,
Run It Agency,
mm-hmm,
and my production partner,
mm-hmm,
DJ Colonel of Simmer Down Sounds.
Okay.
That's the team right now responsible,
mm-hmm,
for this, project.
Okay.
With my production, Wildstone Productions.
Mm-hmm.
Rise and Shine is the first single,
okay,
that was released from the Sola rhythm.
Mm-hmm.
The Sola rhythm has great artists featured such as Michael Rose, President Brown, Perfect Gidman,
Mm-hmm.
Of Lifetime,
Mm-hmm.
Tweaky,
Mm-hmm.
Turbulent, Aaron Nigel Smith, right? I mentioned before, Frostman Brilliant and Arturas,
Okay.
The combination with me on Rise and Shine. And then we have a legendary Rankin Joe,
Mm-hmm.
as well. So it's a true honor to have been able to collaborate in this way, for this project.
Okay.
Rise and Shine. The pandemic, as it's called, had a lot of us locked down and cooped up. And we couldn't do anything, really. We had to be by ourselves or with our families. You know what? Music is a life source. And I'm feeling really blessed to have had the gift of music, because throughout this period, that is what was happening. You know, it was like the pandemic didn't even exist to me.
Okay.
You spoke of, previous projects that were released during this period of time. I've even surprised myself with the amount I was able to do. Speak of the Freedom Declaration of Rights project.
Okay.
Project that was right at the beginning of the pandemic, right? We talked about Be a Light. That was also right in the middle, of the pandemic.
2020.
And it so happened that that song that was written in 2007, right?
Okay.
That features, you mentioned C Sharp Band before. Monty, the guitarist, is original member of C Sharp Band. And then we also have Kumar, from former lead singer of Raging Fire. Be a Light, as a song that came out at that period, I find had a lot of people feeling uplifted.
Okay.
So fast forward now, Rise and Shine. A lot of things are being lifted when it comes to, this period we're in with the pandemic.
Okay.
And so it's time to rise and shine. Solar rhythm.
True that.
Right?
True that.
Yeah, man. We talk about where do we get the energy from? Solar energy, man. So we say solar rhythm.
Yes, man.
We're gonna bring some light to the people. We're gonna bring some light to ourselves. We're gonna bring some light to the community that we're a part of.
True that.
Guess what?
True that.
Perfect. But we're perfectly imperfect.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Yes, man. I was even about to ask you about why you used the word Sola, but I've gotten it. What inspired the name Sola? So this rhythm, you are part of the production. It's accompanying a lot of legends and just great artists. What are some of the criteria that was being used just to select artists to participate in this rhythm, and how has been the feedback so far?
All right, the feedback has been great. Criterias, man, the love for the music and the people I work with. Those were the criterias. And, like the partnership between myself and DJ Colonel, Tough Gang International, Foundation Media, and Run It Agency, as I said, it's team effort.
Okay.
Right? Well, the composition of the music was on me with so much pleasure, all the other pieces, teamwork all the way. All the artists brought their A game. You hear all these songs, and all these songs are very uplifting.
Okay.
They're lyrically edifying. And so far a solar rhythm, energy rhythm.
I tell you.
and the first single being a single that is telling you to rise and shine with the solar energy.
I tell you.
What more? I mean, what can we expect? Just pure energy all the way. Good vibes.
All right. Jubba White, what are some of the maybe two things that you have learned from this COVID in terms of music and in terms of just coping up?
Patience.
Okay.
Patience is number one. And with patience, you have to look within, and you have to think about love for self.
All right.
So that's nothing new, but that's what was solidified during this period.
All right.
My relationship with music and why I have this relationship with music.
All right.
Energy it gives, rise and shine, solar rhythm. All right, it represents all.
Yes, man. Yes, Aya. So what should people expect, Jubba White? What should people expect?
People should expect love, positive vibes, and to continue rising and shining from the works that I intend on continuing to put, because that's what I'm all about.
All right.
You know, we're all perfectly perfect, but for me personally, that's the energy I want to push, because that's what we need.
All right.
You know, most of love and good energy.
I tell you. As we conclude, let's get a question from Zaga, my co-host.
Yes, bless up, Olipa Lava, Jubba Whiter. I'm already following you up on Instagram. So I would love to know, what are your handles, your official handles, also on Twitter and just on Facebook, and how can people be able to connect to your music and some of the places whereby you are having your music, you know?
All right. Well, I have a home page. Enough respect, Zaga. I have a home page. My website is jubbawhite.com. So that's JUBBAWHITE.com. And that's the place where you can go and find all the social media platforms. However, I'll tell you, Instagram at Jubba White. Facebook is at Jubba White Stone Productions, Jubba White Music.
All right.
And Spotify. I'm not sure if you're having Spotify there.
It's
Everything
there. It's there.
Okay, perfect. So it's Jubba White. Everything, if you type in Jubba White, you'll find me.
All right.
Instagram at Jubba White. YouTube at Jubba White. White Stone Productions.
Right.
Once you type Jubba White, you should be able to find me there. But go to my website, jubbawhite.com, and it will be easy to connect with all those platforms.
I tell you. DJ, let's have a question from DJ also.
Yeah, when you talk about the reggae sound in the international market, how far, like in the United States, how do they receive the reggae sound? Because we know there are different genres of music, people listen to different kind of music. But you as an artist, you've stood out as an artist doing reggae music. So tell us about the reggae sound in the United States.
The reggae music is received with so much love all over the world. So the United States is no different.
Okay.
What I'll say is, you know, as a country that has invested in so many different genres, popular music in general, and with the variety of popular music that's here, you know, rap music, hip-hop music, which is American music, but I should also say that was influenced by reggae. For those who don't know, you know, hip-hop music was influenced by reggae. That's the main thing here. Then you have country music, you have you know, R&B, of course, rhythm and blues. What I'd say, based on my experiences traveling the world, music to me seemed to be the biggest music on the planet, but somehow it remains underground. Everybody listens to reggae music. All right, let's not generalize like that, but most people listen to reggae music. Based on my experience, it's the biggest music across the globe. But it is an underground music because of the topics that it addresses. All right.
Yeah, Jubba White, as we conclude, as Kenyans expect you to come in the soonest time possible, which countries in Africa have you traveled? Some of the experience you have in Africa? And my last question will be, any fun facts about Jubba White?
And any what?
Any fun facts?
Oh, and a fun fact. All right. All right. Kenya has shown me love. All right. I'm very grateful. Thanks to you guys. You know what I mean?
Give thanks.
Thanks to IDEM for having me on the Reggae Iration, KUTV, Kenya Massive,
Bless.
Rebellious Massive. I love you guys. Saying,
yes,
big
man.
up. Africa is the home and the foundation of humanity. So I really want to be able to travel the homeland as extensively as I can, you know, when I'm able to. Have to go to Ethiopia for sure.
Uh-huh.
You know, Ghana have to go to. I've been to Guinea, you know, and as I said, man, homeland is homeland, you know, so I want to be able to experience the homeland right across its
All
length.
right.
And, you know, fun fact about Jubba White. I'm going to play the last game of the football soccer season with my team today at 12 p.m.
I tell you.
I play football, you know what I mean? Like, football is you know, I love it, man.
Okay.
I love it. So yeah, that's a fun fact. And I'm a striker. I score goals.
All right. Yes, man, Jubba White. Really giving thanks for the time that you have, for the time you've had with us. We'll keep in touch. Any new project you've had, we'll be glad for you to join us again. Just give thanks and let's have Rise and Shine again.
Yeah, man. Enough respect.